Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome you to our program tonight. We are starting late, but I'm going to give everybody a chance to get here. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you at this time to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. Please rise, everyone. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it. America's finest right there.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, performing at the Barbershop Quartet in 2015. The host of the Barbershop Quartet convention gave us a Pledge of Allegiance, and we greatly appreciate that. Gentlemen, thank you for your service. Thank you for being here with us and providing that wonderful music for us. I want to thank all of our members of our military, wherever they might be. And it doesn't matter whether it's the United States Army here, it doesn't matter whether it's the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, the Coast Guard, Space Force. It doesn't matter whether it's our allied members of their armed forces as well. We want to thank them all. God bless them all. Thank you for your service, ladies and gentlemen, and God be with you till you can reach your homes in safety. God bless you so that you can reach your homes in safety. We want to tell you that. We love and respect each and every one of you. And thank you for your service again. Folks, we have a lot to talk about tonight. First, I want to thank our dear friend Laura and her husband who sent us this picture from Cannon Beach, Oregon. They took this picture from Cannon Beach, Oregon. It's beautiful. Okay? On the back, I want to show you this. Okay? Isn't that really something? Cannon Beach, Oregon. She says, I spent the weekend there. The weather was dry and beautiful. I rested up on the coast of Oregon in preparation for oral surgery, which went well today. Being prepared to me also means maintaining our dental and medical health. I totally agree, Laura. Thank you so much. She also says, Ron and Carol, I'm so happy for the two of you and second chances in life. Thank you for all you do for the EMA family. Sincerely, Laura Marie and John. Thank you guys. We really appreciate that. She also sent us a gift card, which I greatly appreciate as well. Thank you all for your support. We appreciate it. Each one of you for your support. I haven't gotten any cards until this in the last 2 weeks. Our P.O. Box is P.O. Box 422, Valdese, North Carolina, 28690 is the zip code. Folks, we also have not gotten any PayPal or Venmo donations lately either. We appreciate all of those as well. And thank you also for all of your support. We do appreciate it. God bless all of you for that. We're trying to keep this program on the air as long as we possibly can. I appreciate all your super chats as well. Super chats go here and stay here in YouTube for a month. They don't get to us until about the 21st or 22nd or even upwards of the 24th of every month. That's the way it goes. They also take about 40% of the money that you give us. The best thing to do if you want to really support us, and I'm sorry to say this, is go to our PayPal or our Venmo locations, and we can get 95-98% of the money that you send to us. Unfortunately, YouTube keeps a good percentage here on this channel, unfortunately. We appreciate each and every one of you that are here in our chat room today. Everybody here means a great deal to me. Each one of you are the EMA family that we have. We're very thankful for each and every one of you. Folks, one of the first things I want to talk about are earthquakes. Okay? Queen Charlotte Island today. This is the largest quake at Queen Charlotte Island. This is in the Cascadia Subduction Zone region. The Cascadia Subduction Zone region. This is a 3.2 earthquake here. A 3.2 earthquake. And it wasn't the only one that happened. We also had a 1.8 there. We had a 1.8 here as well. Let me move this here so you can see it. It's a 1.8. That was also not the only earthquake that we had. 1.83 as well here. Okay? Again, that was not the only one we had either. Now these are all at depth here. Okay? 20.6 miles deep. Okay? Let me continue on here. I'm sorry, that was not the one. That was in Canada. I'm going to talk about that again in a second. Port Alice. Okay? Port Alice. This is a this is Port Alice here, and this is a 3.16. Okay? Notice where it's at. This one is on the Juan de Fuca Fault. The Juan de Fuca Fault. The others were right there on the Cascadia Subduction Zone. This is on the Juan de Fuca here. One more here. I think we talked to you about this one here. This is on Queen Charlotte Island, this is in Canada. Okay? This is in Canada. This is in Quebec. Okay? A 2.37 earthquake up here in Canada, northeastern Canada. Notice where it's at. It's on the Craton, ladies and gentlemen. It's on the Eastern Continental Divide. We're going to be talking about the Eastern Continental Divide later. Okay, but I wanted to make sure we showed you this because it may not be on the USGS map. They don't give this out usually, and they did not. It does not exist on the USGS map. Let's go over to USGS map really quickly. I will not be staying here on the USGS map at all. Okay, it's just not going to happen tonight. Okay, I want to show you this. These earthquakes are all important. Okay, over here in South America, this was in Ecuador. This is a 5.1 earthquake on land in Ecuador. On land in Ecuador, guys. Ecuador is a good country. It's not completely into the 21st century. People here also suffer. It's not a third world country, but there are people that do not live up in the lap of luxury like some of us. A 5.1 earthquake can be very destructive. It can tear apart homes. It can disrupt people's lifestyle. It can destroy businesses, business buildings, homes, and the like. Okay? That's a 5.1 earthquake in Ecuador today. Over here, this is in Peru, along the coastline of Peru. This is a 4.3 earthquake. This is 45 kilometers deep. This 5.1 in Ecuador, this was 10 kilometers deep. Or 10 miles deep, I'm sorry, 10 miles deep. This one in Peru is 45 miles deep. We go over here to northern Chile. Okay? This is a 4.4, 71 miles deep. 4.4 moderate earthquake, 71 miles deep. This one is a 4.8. Also 72 miles deep. This one is a 4.2. This is on the borderline of Argentina and Chile. A 4.2 earthquake here in the Andes Mountains. This one is 105 miles deep. Okay? Now, this one here is in southern Chile. This is the furthest south earthquake that we have ever covered here on the EMA show. Calafate, Argentina. Literally, Calafate, Calafate, Argentina. This has nothing to do with the Muslim population. This is Calafate, Argentina, a moderate 4.2 earthquake. This, folks, is 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Go figure. We have never had all of these 6.2 earthquakes until the last 2 weeks. All of a sudden we have tons of them. Literally tons of them. Let's go further west here. Okay, I want to show you this. This is in the Solomon Islands today. This is the largest earthquake of the day. A 5.5. A very dangerous 5.5, mid-5 earthquake here in the Solomon Islands. 29 miles north-northeast Aukuki, A-U-K-I, Aukuki, Solomon Islands. A very dangerous earthquake here. Okay? Look where it's at. Look where this is at. Okay? It's on land here. This is dangerous, guys. This is very dangerous. Anytime you get an earthquake of this caliber, guys, a lot of things can go wrong. If there's anybody living anywhere near here, guess what? They may have lost their homes, they may have lost their businesses, and some of them may have even lost their lives. A 5.5 earthquake is very dangerous. Now, folks, I have not seen anyone that lives anywhere near this earthquake yet. And I'm saying yet. Okay? I haven't been down here south. Some of these islands are not occupied. Well, looky here. There are people that live on this island. Okay? Fortunately for them, this earthquake is probably 100 miles away from them. Hopefully. But a 5.5 right next to shore there, and these people are right next to shore, they probably felt the whole thing. This is a very dangerous earthquake. A 5.5 can do a lot of damage, regardless of what USGS says. They're calling these 5 earthquakes moderate earthquakes. It's not moderate in any way, shape, or form. These are very dangerous large earthquakes here. Off the coast here. This is a 5.4 here, off the coast. For the most part, the ocean waters absorb the shock waves of this earthquake. For the most part. This is 32 miles off the coast. Further out is this one here. It's a 4.7 earthquake. This is 6.2 miles deep. This 5.4, 27 miles deep. And the 5.5, also 24 miles deep. Very dangerous earthquake here. This earthquake to the north is a 5.0. 5.0. We have 3 aftershocks. 3 aftershocks. 2 of them in the 5 range. The other one, a 4.7. Okay? We're going to check in with the Solomon Islands a little bit later and just see what has happened here today. This happened at 5:13 a.m. I have not heard anything about it. Michael McKinney's asking about a tsunami threat. I do not believe there's a tsunami threat from a 5.5. Okay? A 5.5 at shore did not do anything dangerous out at sea. The 5.4 out at sea, I don't think so. Usually tsunami warnings are generated when it's a 6.0 or larger. A 6.0 or larger. And there has to be damage to the ocean floor. Okay? I've explained tsunamis to you in the past. What's got to happen to have a tsunami? The ocean floor must be torn apart. There must be a strike-slip earthquake with the ocean floor dropping down even deeper than it normally is. The ocean water runs out into that void. Then, after it rushes out, it goes back to the shoreline. Tsunamis, the water rushes away from shore, goes out to where the earthquake happened, to the epicenter, where the void was, where the ocean floor dropped, fills that void, and then goes back to shore. That's multiple waves, not just one wave. I want to make it very clear. Tsunamis are multiple waves. It could be 5, it could be 30 waves. We don't have any count and have no way of knowing. No one does. No one does. But I highly doubt that this could have caused a tsunami. Okay? I want to make that very clear. Okay? But this is the biggest earthquake of the day. We go up into the Mariana Islands here. This is also a very, very big earthquake. This is the Pagan region, northern Mariana Islands, a 5.6 earthquake. A 5.5 in the Solomon Islands, a 5.6 earthquake up here in the northern Mariana Island area. The Mariana Islands is a huge, huge Mariana Trench, the deepest trench in the world, out here in the ocean. Now, folks, there was nobody even anywhere near where this earthquake hit. Okay? Nowhere near. One of the tiny islands is right here. It's a volcano. It's a volcano. I have not seen any people or any residences anywhere near this island. Okay? I don't see anybody anywhere near it. Many of the Mariana Islands are not occupied. They're just out there. Every one of these islands happened because there's a volcano there. Every one of these islands here is a volcano. They were formed by volcanoes. You can see that here. Again, this island doesn't have any inhabitants on it either. So 5.6 earthquake hit here in the Mariana Trench, Mariana Islands region here. Okay, I have not heard anything else about that since it happened. Now, I'm not going to be touching on all these earthquakes here in Indonesia, and there are not many of them. Okay, there are a total of 20 earthquakes here in the Indonesia area. What are they showing? 4. Okay, the only one that well, there's 2. This one here in Sumbawa, Indonesia. This is a 4.8. This is also 16 miles deep. 16 miles deep. This other one here, north of Sumatra. North of Sumatra. Okay, on the northern edge of Sumatra up here. It's out at sea in the Andaman Islands. This is a 4.7, 123 miles deep. That's a pretty deep. It's not total. It's not off the charts deep. It's a pretty deep earthquake. Okay. Again, going up here into Japan. This is a 4.4. Shimoda, Japan. This is 77 miles deep. 77.5 miles deep off the coast of Shimoda, Japan. Okay? Nobody on the island here felt that. Nobody on Honshu Island felt that at all. It's too far offshore, and it's also only a moderate earthquake. Okay? I want to show you a few other earthquakes here. Okay? We have a swarm of earthquakes here in China. Okay? This earthquake is a 4.1, 6.2 miles deep. The bigger earthquake is here. It's a 5.4 earthquake here. Southern Zhejiang, China. Zhejiang, I believe, is a province. Okay, a 5.4 earthquake. Again, 5.3 miles deep. These other earthquakes are all aftershocks. Okay, a 4.3 here, a 4.8. Here's a 4.1. This is a 4.8 here. And another earthquake here. This is number 4. Actually, this is number 5. A 4.6 earthquake. Again, 6.2 miles deep in China. Now, I'm going to go over here. Okay? This is Western Turkey. They're showing one earthquake here. There's over a dozen earthquakes here in Turkey here. Okay? This is a 4.1, 7.4 miles deep. Okay? They're not showing them. There's a dozen earthquakes in this area, and they're not showing but that one. What a bunch of crap that is. Also over here at the Turkey-Syria border region, we're still having about a dozen earthquakes here every day. Every day. As a result of the 9.0, 10.0 earthquake that hit here earlier this year. A major, major earthquake hit here. Over 5,000 people killed. About 4,500 people are injured still as a result of this earthquake. Okay? They're still taking relief supplies in from all over the world here. Okay? Let's go over to Greece. Okay? This is a 4.5 earthquake over here in western Greece. A moderate earthquake. This one was felt. A 4.5 earthquake 3 miles northwest of Paranthmia, Greece. This one is 14 miles deep here. Okay? Now they're not showing any earthquakes here in Italy. That's a fallacy. There's 2 earthquakes over here just off the coast of Sicily today. There's another earthquake in central Italy here. central Italy, right about in this area. Okay? I believe it's a 2.3 earthquake. Just a minor earthquake here. Now, going up here into northern Italy, there's a 1.7 here on in the foothills of the Alps here. The foothills of the Alps. Over here in southern France, there's another 1.5 tremor here. Okay? Again, they're not showing them. Also, Crete, or not Crete, I'm sorry, Croatia had a 2.37 here today. Croatia right here. They're not showing that, are they? Heaven forbid that they tell us the truth. We don't have any earthquakes to report in Spain. None in Spain. There's no earthquakes over here north of Morocco. Not any here in this plate area here. You can see that earthquake fault marker here. That's the edge of the plate up here in northern Africa. Usually just offshore here on the eastern side of the Strait of Gibraltar, we have numerous quakes. Today there are none. Okay? Over here. Okay? Just south of Gibraltar here. This is the Azores region. The Azores region. There's a 2.37 earthquake here. Okay? Now, there's also no other earthquakes to report down here in the Canary Islands at all. Okay? Let's go up north to Iceland here. Over here. Okay? Right up here. This is Vagredsdale. Remember that volcano that's been erupting here? It's still erupting. Still erupting. A 1.7 tremor here, and also 1.5 here as well. Okay? That, folks, is right here where you see this center of the Atlantic, the mid-Atlantic fault. Okay? These earthquakes may be responsible for, or the volcano there may be responsible, but it could also be that we have the fault region here that's responsible for these two minor tremors here in Iceland today. Okay? Again, USGS is not even showing it. What a bunch of garbage that is. They're also not showing that earthquake over here in Quebec, Canada either. What kind of people are they? What kind of people are they? Over here on the New Madrid Fault, New Bern, Tennessee. 1 mile west of New Bern, Tennessee, this is a 2.3 earthquake. A little bit later, we're going to show you earthquakes all over the New Madrid Fault. I'm going to show you seismograms. Okay? No one should be surprised by what they see on the seismograms today. Nobody really should be. Okay? Nothing really new to report, except there's new earthquakes. I'm going to show you all those in just a few minutes. Going over to the Rat Islands, Attu Station here in the Aleutian Islands here. This is a 4.4 earthquake. This is nowhere near land. Nowhere near any land mass in the Rat Islands area. Again, this is on the Aleutian Island Fault over here, just east of Kamchatka Peninsula, and it's going over towards Alaska. All of these islands are Alaskas. Okay? A 4.4 earthquake here in Attu Station, Rat Islands area. Okay? This is 9.4 miles deep here. Okay? Nothing overwhelming to report here in Alaska. We have one red earthquake here. This is Elmendorf Air Force Base. Elmendorf Air Force Base with a 2.1 minor earthquake here today. Elmendorf Air Force Base here. Okay? Over here and what I like to refer to as the thumb of Alaska. We've had earthquakes in this general area before. This one is a 3.2, and it's a mile deep. 1 mile deep here. Okay? That's Alaska. Okay? Again, they're not showing these other earthquakes over near Queen Charlotte Island at all. Why? They don't think they have to. They don't believe they have to. Over here in the Pacific Northwest, I'm going to show you a few earthquakes at Ranier and also at Mount St. Helens. I want to talk just a few minutes about Ranier and St. Helens here. This earthquake is Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak, Washington. This is a 1.2 tremor here. A 1.2 tremor. Now folks, Glacier Peak seismograph has been shut down. We have no evidence of anything going on here at Glacier Peak. But again, USGS is reporting a 1.2 tremor here at Glacier Peak. They probably have a dozen or so tremors here. Never surprising here at Glacier Peak. Okay? Now, let's go south. USGS is reporting one 0.8 microquake just southwest of Mount Ranier. What a bunch of crap. I'm going to show you a lot more than that in a minute. Over here at Mount St. Helens, USGS this past weekend, right before, I think it was on Friday, Thursday or Friday last week, issued an upgrade of the volcanic emissions level at, or not emissions, but the earthquake level here has been upgraded to condition yellow, condition caution, because of all the earthquakes that have been hitting here at Mount St. Helens. This is a 1.4 tremor here. Again, this is right down the throat of Mount St. Helens here. 2 miles deep. 2 miles deep here at Mount St. Helens. I'm going to show you a lot of seismic activity here at Mount St. Helens today. They're not showing anything else here, which is a crying shame. It's a crying shame because there's plenty of activity here. Okay? Over here to the geysers, you can see what's happening here. It's always happening here. It's always happening here at the geysers. This is a geothermal plant here, a huge facility with 80 different turbines here. 80 different turbines. They have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano here to obtain steam. Each one of these drill points, each one of these holes in the ground is attracting seismic energy. That's why we have all these earthquake tremors here every day. The seismic tremors hit the earthquake fault, man-made earthquake fault at that. It fractures the rock, causing earth movement. That's what we're seeing here today. This red one here is 0.8 magnitude microquake. 0.8 microquake. This is 1.3 miles deep, by the way. Just for those of you that might be keeping track of that. Over here on the east side of San Francisco Bay, this is San Leandro, California. This is not the only earthquake we've seen in San Leandro, California here. This is a 1.8 tremor here, 1.9, 2.0 miles deep. 2 miles deep. Okay? It's on the Hayward Fault. On the Hayward Fault. A couple more earthquakes here. I want to show you this. This is a 2.0 earthquake at Alum Rock. Alum Rock, also on the Hayward Fault. Going further south on the San Andreas. This is the Pinnacles. This is a 1.3 tremor here at the Pinnacles. This, folks, is 5 miles deep. 5 miles deep. This one is a 2.0 earthquake at Coalinga, California. Coalinga is not any stranger to earthquakes. They've had their share of earthquakes, even a 5.3 earthquake back in the 70s. I distinctly remember that because I have friends there that live there in Coalinga. This is Kettleman City here. Kettleman City with a 2.4 earthquake here. Okay? Folks, this is a volcanic area. Kettleman City is a volcanic area here in California. Okay? Now, we have absolutely no earthquakes reported over here in the Ridgecrest, Mojave Desert area, except for this one here. This one is Searles Valley. A 1.0 tremor, 4.0 miles deep. Nothing else in Ridgecrest or anywhere near here. Okay? Nothing on the Garlock Fault. You can see Southern California here. Plenty of microquakes and tremors here in eastern Los Angeles area here, Fontana. Fontana, guys, this is a 1.1 tremor. Fontana's had 2.3, 3.2 earthquakes here this weekend. Fontana, California. The Anza Gap here. Moreno Valley here. 0.9 microquake. 1.0 tremor, Moreno Valley. Over here, Mentone, California. 1.0 tremor here. We move into San Diego County. Northeastern San Diego County. The Anza Gap here. I'm sorry, this is not San Diego County. This is Idlewild. This is San Bernardino Mountain still. Okay, Idlewild. This, they say this is a surface quake. 0.0 earthquake here. Folks, it's not a surface quake, it's 10 miles deep. How can you have a surface quake when it's 10 miles deep? Okay? You have to ask them, why are you reporting that as a surface quake? It's not. This is a 0.5 microquake. East of Idlewild. Morongo Valley, 1.1 tremor here. Then, like I say, we drop down here into northeastern San Diego County. This is Henshaw again, Lake Henshaw. 1.0 tremor here, 8 miles deep, on the San Jacinto Fault, or I'm sorry, not San Jacinto, the Elsinore Fault. And this one also on the Elsinore, 0.6 microquake, also 9 miles deep. North of there, the Anza Gap. You can't not help know what's going on here. The Anza Gap is part of the Anza Borrego Desert State Park here in San Diego County. All these earthquakes here. 0.6 microquake. This is 0.7 here. We go further south here. Julian, California, the Apple capital of San Diego. Julian, California with a 1.3 tremor here. Now, again, I just love USGS reporting earthquakes as quarry blasts. That's what they've done here. This is not a quarry blast. This is not a quarry blast. This is up in the hills in a residential area of Lakeside, California. Up in the hills here in Lakeside, California. This is not a quarry. USGS, you might have this as a 1/10 of a mile deep. It's not a quarry. You don't go blasting around a quarry or for a quarry right next to a housing development in Lakeside, California. I used to live there, guys. I used to live there. In fact, just so you know, okay, I want to show you this. There's the lake out at Lakeside. Okay? I used to live right down here. Okay? I used to live right down here. Folks, there is a roping corral here. They have horse roping, they have cattle roping, they have sheep, kids riding sheep here at this rodeo area. Okay? I used to live here. There is a rodeo area. I lived right in here. I live just east of that rodeo area. Okay? Funny thing how that is, isn't it? Crazy as it is. I used to live in Lakeside. I know all about Lakeside. Michael McKinney says your neighbors would not be happy. Oh no. Oh no, not at all. No, they would not be happy at all. But again, USGS doesn't know what they're talking about. They just don't get it. They don't get it. So I've taken you on a tour, literally, of all the world now. Now, I will say this. Not all of the earthquakes were shown either. Okay? There's about 400 other earthquakes around the globe. USGS is only showing 237 on their map. That's a fallacy. There's at least another 300 or 400 around the world that they're not showing. What's up with that? Okay? I keep asking them, what's up with that? Now, last night I showed you some of the damage and some of the protesters that were all over Washington, D.C. during the weekend. Here's another group of them right in front of the White House. Remember I showed you this fence? These arrowhead kind of figures on top of the fence, they're spikes. They're very sharp spikes. If you get caught on here and can't get down, you're screwed. You're going to have all kinds of pain in areas you've never seen pain before. Okay? A few people got up here. They got down. Okay? Look at the throngs. This was literally all over the White House and the Capitol. Lafayette Park. Damage all over. On these fence posts, there are stickers saying, "Save Palestine." Save Palestine here. It's incredible what they're doing. Okay? Now, I want to give you just some information on what's going on in Israel today. Okay? You may have heard that there's a British aircraft carrier over here. It's over here in Qatar. Qatar has also been plotting with Saudi Arabia against the United States. But yet, there is a British aircraft carrier here with all their task force. We also have the Eisenhower, and it's further to the right from this. It's on station in here in the Gulf region. We have 3 aircraft carriers now. We've got the British HMS Elizabeth here. We have the Gerald R. Ford, and we have the USS Eisenhower. Those two aircraft carriers are nuclear powered. They're nuclear powered, guys. Now, when we're talking about Turkey and Syria, the United States has Air Force base both in Turkey and Syria. Heavily armed service personnel in those areas. What you need to know. For the first time in history, we have nuclear boom booms in silos underground birthing containers right now in Turkey and Syria. We are locked and loaded now for war here in the Middle East. We're locked and loaded. We have F-16s and F-18s. We have B-1B bombers. B-1B bombers. The other day over here in Saudi Arabia, we had a B-1B bomber here in this area. What was it doing? Folks, it had a cage attached to it. No, the cage was not open. It was all enclosed on the bottom of the aircraft. What is that person doing there in the B-1B bomber? Precise targeting location. Precise targeting of locations over Saudi. That's what they're doing. They're targeting, guys. And the B-1Bs are fully loaded. We have F-16s and F-18s, fully loaded armaments on board, in case they were to go head on with any of the Iranian Air Force, any of the other Turkey Air Force people. Guess what? They can go head to head with all of them. Okay? I want to make sure you all understand exactly what's going on over here in the Middle East. Now, today here in the United States, in the Senate chambers, I should say not in the Senate chambers, but just outside the Senate chambers here in the United States, Washington, D.C. area. Senate Speaker Johnson and his entourage of politicians had representatives of families of hostages that were taken from Israel. There's over 200 hostages still over there in Gaza, and they don't know where they're at. If you go over to YouTube, there are several locations where you can hear the news conference where Senator Johnson and his people allowed the hostage families to talk about their hostages that are over there. It's very compelling. I would urge all of you to check it out. It's very compelling of what they have there. Now, before I get into earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest and over in New Madrid. Yes, we're going to be talking about New Madrid earthquakes tonight. Folks, you need to know this too. I've shown you two, or actually 4 slides here, put on top of the map of the U.S. These 4 slides here represent E-6s, command and control aircraft. This was as of yesterday. As of yesterday. 4 E-6s up. One of those E-6s was launched out of Tinker Air Force Base in Oklahoma. You notice the blue line that leaves Tinker. It goes down through Texas. Once it got about over Houston area, it shut off its transponder. Once it got over the Houston area, it shut off its transponder. Our command and control aircraft rarely ever do that. It is not known why it shut off its transponder, but it did go out over the Gulf of Mexico. But 4 E-6 command and control aircraft were up over the United States yesterday. That's a new record. Now, I want to show you this. Okay? Over here, over Kentucky and Tennessee area. Folks, we had an E6 over here as well, and a B-1B flying over the Smoky Mountains. An E6 and a B-1B flying over the Smoky Mountains here. Don't know why, but they were. Now this is flight radar. Yes, I monitor this as well, and I will continue to monitor it because we want to know what's going on. Okay? Now with that said, something else that you need to be aware of. If you hear a lot of sirens, pay attention to where those sirens are coming from. Pay attention to what you're hearing. Those sirens can also give you emergency information. We've been getting a lot of sirens here locally. It's not just fire or ambulance, sheriffs or police. We're getting some sirens here. Okay? You need to be aware of it. Stuff is happening. Stuff is happening. Okay? I'm just trying to give you information that you need. Renee Steffi says standard flight training pass. Not really. Not really. Nothing is standard training when you have E6s shutting off transponders. Okay? There's a reason they're doing it. There's a definitive reason they are doing it. Carl Smith says that's kind of alarming. Yes, it is. But I felt like we needed to talk about it. I felt like we needed to talk about it. Now let's go over to the Pacific Northwest. I want to talk about Mount Rainier here. Specifically about Mount Rainier. Then we're going to Mount St. Helens as well. Okay? Folks, this is Camp Sherman. This is the seismogram from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. Anytime you see a red seismogram like this, it's from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. The blue ones are from the USGS. Okay? I want to show you this. Okay? Look at what we're seeing. We have two magma churn signals. Two magma churn signals. We also have a pretty good sized earthquake here. First, let's look at these magma churn signals. I want to make sure you understand what we're seeing here. Okay? This magma churn signal, guys, is larger than normal. It's longer than normal here. Magma churn signals are typically 23 to 24 lines high. Let's count the number of lines that this magma churn signal occupies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines high. This is like the third magma churn signal that's been this long. 9 lines high. Okay? Folks, this is just less than 50% of real world. This is just less than 50% of real world. The red lines off to the right, that is steam. Those are steam signals here. Steam signatures. 6 to 7% of all magma is water. 6 to 7% of all magma is water. When there's tiny holes up on top at the summit of these volcanoes, the magma underneath those lava rock, those plugs, those lava plugs, has been hit from underneath by lava, by magma, I should say. Magma is when it's still in the volcano. The volcanic plugs, the lava plugs, are being hit by the magma from underneath, fracturing that rock. When that happens, it puts tiny holes, fissures within that magma or that lava plug, allowing steam to escape. We've shown steam escaping Mount Rainier. Even that picture last night, I believe, showed steam escaping from Mount Rainier. This happens frequently, every day. Steam escapes from these volcanoes. That's what we're seeing here. Now, considering this magma churn signal is telling us that this seismogram is reporting nearly 50% of reality, let's look at this earthquake. This earthquake here, okay? This was yesterday morning. Actually, no, not yesterday morning. This is this morning. Okay? This is this morning. This is at 2:15. This is just after 2:15, about 2:20 in the morning this morning. This earthquake is a 3.5 earthquake. This earthquake is a 3.5 earthquake at Mount Rainier. As it sits here, just as this seismic signature says, it's a 3.5. Multiply this times 2. Multiply this seismic signature times 2. This would probably be a 4.5 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. A 4.5 earthquake here at Mount Rainier, considering what we know from the steam signature, or the magma churn signals. The magma churn signals. This is probably a 4.5 earthquake. Mount Rainier. Look at all these other tremors hitting here as well. There's a lot of activity at Mount Rainier. Each of the horizontal lines represents 15 minutes of time. 15 minutes of time, guys, allows magma to come in to the magma chamber on each of those lines. Some of those lines are thicker than others. When the lines are thicker, there's more magma coming into this volcano. Okay? More magma coming into this volcano. Let me show you another one. This one, this seismogram is from Emerald Ridge. Look at this, guys. Here is another earthquake today. RER, Emerald Ridge. This is another earthquake today. Okay? Now, we don't know how far this seismograph has been turned down that's reporting this seismogram. We're not seeing any magma churn signal here. This earthquake here hit after 10:30, about 10:40 this morning. Probably about 10:40 this morning. Okay? This, folks, I believe, is a 3.0 earthquake. A 3.0 earthquake this morning at Mount Rainier. Now, I believe, for all intents and purposes, we have other tremors here as well, and they're tiny. Given what we're seeing, I believe this seismograph has been turned down, because we're not seeing much activity at all in terms of magma on each of these horizontal lines. It's just barely showing anything at all. So this seismograph has been turned way down. This earthquake, possibly larger than it seems here. This also could have been a 4.0 earthquake this morning here at Mount Rainier. Emerald Ridge is on the southern part of the mountain, the southern flank of Mount Rainier. Let's go show you another one. Okay? This is Mount Rainier VLF. Okay? This is the HHN multi-channel seismograph. The HHN channel. These wavy VLF lines are showing the magma and really the strength of the magma coming into this volcano. Again, Mount Rainier. Look what we're seeing. Up at the top, or near the top, there are times when this magma is very active. But then it calms down again. But look what happened later this morning. The amount of magma increased this morning. Increased enough to show this earthquake on the VLF channel. The same earthquake that we showed you on that other channel here at Emerald Ridge. Okay, we're seeing that same earthquake here. Magma causing that earthquake. In this particular case, over here on the far left, is 1030. Same location here on this seismograph. About 1040 this morning. Look at that whole blue line. That's intense magma. That's intense magma coming into this volcano. It's a lot of magma, folks. But this increased activity with all these wavy lines here, folks, there should be a lot more activity than the seismograms are showing. Because as we have increased magma activity, it's causing earthquake fractures in the rock. It's fracturing the rock, causing earth movement. And we're not really seeing a lot of that. That means these other seismographs have been turned down. It's not reporting true activity here. That is our report about Mount Rainier. Fantasy Dog just gave us another $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Please help Ron do this. Thoughts are with Hurricane Heather. She's an important rock in this channel's foundation. I agree. Hurricane Heather needs our prayers, guys. Hurricane Heather needs our prayers. She's going through a lot of stuff. So please, folks, don't forget her in your prayers. She wrote me a note earlier today asking for our prayers. I was going to talk about that, and I will talk about it again tonight before we get off here. Sorry, I got water in my other pipe here. Thanks for telling me about that, Fantasy Dog. I appreciate that. Like I said, I was going to talk about her a little bit later, and I will talk about that. But she does need our prayers. So please, folks, when you are thinking about Heather, please pray for her. She needs it. She needs it. All right, let's go over to Mount St. Helens. Let's talk about Mount St. Helens here. Folks, this past weekend, I believe it was on Friday, USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network raised the volcanic eruption index here. It's now condition yellow. Caution here at Mount St. Helens. As you can see here, okay, we have an earthquake here last night. Up at the top left-hand corner, this seismograph started recording information at 1800 hours. Juby Joe just gave us another $100. Thank you so much, Juby Joe. God bless you for that. We really appreciate that very much. God bless you for that. And blessings to Hurricane Heather again. Juby Joe, thank you so much for that. We really appreciate that. God bless you. And God bless Heather. That's awesome. Now, folks, look what we're showing you here at Mount St. Helens. Elizabeth Hutchinson just gave us another $100 super chat. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. God bless you for that. Wow. Wow. That means so much. Yes, we're praying for Heather. Heather is very much, yeah, Michael McKinney, I got that water down the wrong pipe. But Hurricane Heather is very much a solid focus here on our program. She's been a stalwart member of our family. She's very much a sister to me, and I love her very much. Fantasy Dog just gave us another $5 super chat. Thanks, Fantasy Dog. He says, love you, buddy. I love you too. It really means a lot to me when you guys are supporting this channel like this. Sue Ellen says, beautiful generosity. I totally agree. God bless all of you for your support of this channel like this. It means the world to me, and it means the world to everybody here to keep this channel in the air. Now, folks, what is going on here at Mount St. Helens? You can see this earthquake here. This was last night. This red line here, over by 1900 hours on the left-hand side, that's 7 p.m. here. 7 p.m. This seismograph started recording information at 5 p.m. yesterday afternoon. Okay? This is at 1925, about 1925 hours, which is 7:25 p.m. Folks, this is at least a 3.2 earthquake. This is at least a 3.2 earthquake. Now, with that said, let's go down here to this magma churn signal. Again, the magma churn signals are going to tell us how strong this seismograph is or isn't. Okay? Let's count the lines here. Magma churn signals typically should be 23 to 24 lines high. This one's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is about 46% of real world. So when it comes to this earthquake, guys, I told you 3.2, 3.3 earthquake, probably closer to a 4.5 again. Multiply it times 2. Multiply it times at least 2. Probably be a 4.5 earthquake. And what did they show us today? Nothing. Nothing like that. Okay? They showed us a tremor. This is not a tremor. This is not a tremor. This is a full-blown earthquake here at Mount St. Helens. Yes, you do see a lot of other tremors here. I will give them that. I'll give them that. But folks, there's a lot more than that. And down here at the bottom, look what we have here. These vertical lines without dots in the middle of them are steam signatures. Steam being released from Mount St. Helens. Anybody that lives near Mount St. Helens, you could verify for us that there was steam being put out from the volcano today. You can see it. It's here on the seismograph. It's going to be seen visually as well. Okay? That's just one seismograph. One seismograph. This is September lobe. September lobe. Okay? This is the spider that's sitting on top of the magma plug, or the volcanic plug, the lava plug at the top of Mount St. Helens. This seismogram is sitting on top. It's a spider. It's got spindly legs on it. Okay? Look here. They're still showing this same earthquake here. Still showing it. This means, guys, that this is a real quake. When you see on at least 2 or 3 seismograms, it can't be wrong. It's in the same place, the same time. Lena Vilcano's here. Says thanks, or hi EMA. Well, thank you for being here. Hi back. We appreciate you being here. Juby Joe says I've been so poor most of my life. I'm sorry about that, Juby Joe. Thank you for your generosity. This is not the first time you've donated to this program, and we really appreciate it. God bless you, Juby Joe. God bless you that you might have good earnings, whatever you're doing. So you continue to support your family and your friends and efforts such as we're doing here. We really appreciate it. Catherine Sigerson says, I feel rich in the Lord, so do I. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Again, getting back here to St. Helens here. Look at the other activity here. Mount St. Helens is at a cautionary level, possibly gearing up for an eruption here at Mount St. Helens. Okay? Let's go over to show you the VLF channel here. This is the VLF seismogram, okay? It's called SCP, which is a short for September lobe, okay? BDF CC-01. That is the code for this particular seismogram. These wavy lines here again are magma, or is magma coming into the volcano. It's heavy duty, guys. Sometimes less than what we're showing down here near the bottom here. This is a very busy magma chamber here. There's a lot of magma coming into this volcano. Yes, it could indeed erupt. It's showing those tendencies here. It's showing those tendencies. You can see it here. It let up a little bit before we came on the air here. But folks, that could change very quickly. But you can see the velocity of this magma here. It's coming in under pressure. Coming in under a lot of pressure here. Okay? There's that one here. Let's show you one more here. Okay? This is Sugar Bowl. Again, here at Sugar Bowl, we're seeing that same earthquake. Look at that black line here just after 2000 hours last night, up near the top here. 2000 hours is 8 p.m. Look at all the activity on that black line. That is a ton of activity, seismic activity, tremors. Tremors after that earthquake. Look at that. Then it calmed down after that here at Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl is on the north side of Mount St. Helens, by the way. So Mount St. Helens is getting ready to go. We will continue to follow this day to day so you'll know what's going on at Mount St. Helens. This is very important information. Does anybody have any questions about this? Catherine Sigerson is saying how grateful she is to God having given her what she has. She's grateful for her husband. I'm never giving up and still grateful for everything I do have, even my dinner here tonight. I totally agree, Catherine. I totally agree. That means a lot. It means a lot. Anyway, does anybody have any questions about what's going on at Mount Rainier or Mount St. Helens? Nathan Hesser's here in the chat saying he's not getting notifications. Check your subscription. Make sure you're still subscribed. Also, anyone that may be here, make sure you subscribe to this program. When you do, make sure you click on that little bell. There's a tiny little bell there. That tiny little bell, you click on it and click on the word ALL. That should get you notified when we come on the air. And thank you for making that information known, Demon Cat. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. God bless you. Fantasy Dog says they're both scary. I agree. I believe they're both going to erupt. That's my honest opinion. Catherine Sigerson says her husband passed away in 2019 at the age of 52 from colon cancer. I'm so sorry to hear about that. I'm so sorry to hear about that. God bless you, Catherine. And God bless his memory. Demon Cat, you're a champ. I really appreciate you. You're a champ. Okay, let's switch gears here. Let's go over to the pneumatic fault. Now, for the most part, we're going to only show you the biggest seismograms or the most busy seismograms at the pneumatic area. Okay? There's a lot going on. In fact, there's a ton of stuff going on. But folks, you need to know it. You need to be aware of it. Okay? I'm first going to show you what's going on over in Arkansas. I'm going over to the Ozark Folk Center. The Ozark Folk Center, guys. Look what's going on here. The top of this seismogram here, I'll show you. It's midnight. It's midnight. You're seeing these little tiny wavy lines. That really doesn't mean anything. That's artifact. That's what they call artifact. It has nothing to do with seismic energy. Okay? But look what we're seeing down here this morning. Just after 8:15 this morning. Okay? 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Then immediately after that, about a minute or so later, we have a 3.0 earthquake. A 3.0 earthquake. It's a bit larger than the first one. It's also lasting a long period of time, probably about 12 or 15 seconds. This is a multi-line signature here, meaning there's multi-earthquakes hitting at the same time, one after the other after the other. There's like 4 or 5 different earthquakes here, one after the other after the other. Look at the other information here as well. We're seeing tremors. We're also seeing some 2.0 earthquakes as well, minor earthquakes. Look at all the seismic information here. Then we come down here after 11:15 this morning. Again, we're seeing 3.0 earthquakes. 3.0 earthquakes. 11:16, 11:17. Then we go over about a minute and a half later, and they start all over again, just like they did after 8:15 this morning. Okay, this time there's 6 or 7 earthquakes, back to back to back. Then we go out to the right-hand side of it, the secondary wave. The secondary wave. We have some 2.0 earthquakes after that, meaning minor earthquakes. Then it goes out to the right after that, which is a body wave. Now, this red line out to the right of this earthquake, it's not really showing a body wave at all. That is mumbo jumbo. It's artifact. It's false information. But folks, what we're seeing here at the Ozark Folk Center in Arkansas is bigger earthquakes. Bigger earthquakes. These are probably the biggest or largest earthquakes we've had here in this particular location up here in northern Arkansas. We've seen activity here before, but this is the largest amount of activity we've seen. This is Ozark Folk Center this afternoon. Okay, for the most part we have minor earthquakes hitting here and tremors. But again, on this green line, this is 4:46 p.m. this afternoon. Again, we're being introduced to tremors leading up to a 3.0 earthquake. Again, multiple earthquakes here, probably 3 or 4 3.0 earthquakes almost back to back to back. Then out to the right. This time, that secondary wave, folks, is in the form of a triangle. And that secondary wave goes out for about 30 seconds afterwards. What I believe this may be is a little bit larger earthquake than what we're seeing here. In other words, the seismograph has been turned down. This may have been as large as a 5.5 earthquake. This may have been as large as a 5.5 earthquake. And the same thing this morning. Arkansas Folk Center in Arkansas. Okay? It's incredible, isn't it? Oh yeah, it most certainly is. Now folks, other than that, oh, I'm sorry, that was not Ozark Folk Center. This is Barker Cemetery. Barker Cemetery. This is the most information we've ever seen here at Barker Cemetery. Okay? The 3.0, 3.5 earthquake here at Barker Cemetery, that's the largest seismic event at Barker. Okay, at Barker Cemetery. It's incredible. At Ozark Folk Center this afternoon. Okay, I'm sorry I mistook that was what that other seismogram was. It was not Ozark Folk Center, but this is. Look what's happened here this afternoon at Ozark Folk Center, northern Arkansas. Okay, look at that. These are big earthquakes. Yes, there's a few tremors here. There's also a bunch of 2.0, 2.5, 2.6 earthquakes. But look at these black ones here. Okay, this is after 1400 hours, which over on the left-hand side is 2 p.m. Okay, we go over to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2:06 p.m. this afternoon. We have multiple 3.0 earthquakes. Again, it builds up from tremors and then goes right to 3.0 earthquakes. Then about 60 seconds later we get it again. Okay, get hit again. 3.0 earthquakes. And off to the side of that we have a secondary wave. Okay? Then you see some more 2.0, 2.2, 2.3 earthquakes, minor earthquakes. Then we jump down here to the blue line. This blue line is after 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. Okay, this is 2, 3, 4. 3:34 p.m. this afternoon. Again, folks, we have 3.0 earthquakes again. Again. Then we go 2 minutes later. They hit again. Okay? The first one lasts about 30 seconds. Earthquake after earthquake hitting. Then it dies off about 30, 40 seconds later. Almost nothing but microquakes and tremors. Actually, not even a microquake. Nothing but a 1.0, 1.1 tremor. Then it builds up very quick to a 3.0 earthquake again. Multiple earthquakes here. Ozark Folk Center's getting hit, aren't they? This is extraordinary activity here. We've never seen this activity either at Barker or Ozark Folk Center before. Okay? It's crazy. Catfish Pond, Arkansas. Catfish Pond, Arkansas. On this blue line here, this is 7:30, 2, 3, 4, 7:34, 7:35 this morning. Okay, it starts off with a 2.0 earthquake. 7:35 this morning. Again, we have a 2.5, 2.6 magnitude earthquake. Then we have tremors going off for a while here. Okay, we have secondary quake. The secondary waves go out 1, 2, 3 minutes. Secondary waves go out 3 minutes. Then we have a, what do they call it? Now my mind's frozen here. Goes to a blank. We have a secondary wave, and then we have a body wave. That's what they call it, a body wave. We have a body wave out here after that. This earthquake may have been a little bit larger than 2.3, 2.4. Okay? But again, this is something we haven't seen here at Catfish. We've seen some tremors, a lot of tremors here before, but never this kind of activity. Okay? Let's go over to Mark Tree, Arkansas. Look at this. This looks more like Bombay Bay. It also looks like what LBO at Mount Shasta used to look like before they turned it off. Look at this. These are big earthquakes, guys. Up at the top here on the left side on the blue line. This is after 1:30 this morning. 1:30 this morning. It actually started over on the red line on the right-hand side. Okay? 1:26, 1:27 a.m. this morning. Tremors. Then at 1:29 a.m. this morning, that's when the seismograph really kicked in. That's when the seismic energy kicked in. The seismograph starts picking it up here. Okay, over on this side, we have 2.5, 2.8 earthquake, maybe a 3.0. But over on the left-hand side, guess what? All bets are off. They cut off the top and they cut off the bottom of this seismic signal. Just by the looks of it. This is at least a 3.0 just by the looks of what we have here. This is probably a lot larger than that. 3.5 or larger earthquake here. Okay? Then, after 2:18 a.m., we have this huge signal here. By huge, I mean this seismic signal lasted a full minute and a half. It lasted a full minute and a half. This is either a 2.9 earthquake and the stylus went all over the place, or it was a much larger quake. Okay? I've never seen that happen before. Okay? I've seen it happen when we have very large, tremendous earthquakes, but nothing like this. And you can see the seismic activity here. Long duration tremors here. You also see these blue earthquakes here. Again, the tops and the bottom have cut off. That's a lot of seismic activity on the New Madrid Fault. On the eastern side, excuse me, this is on the eastern side of Arkansas, the western side of the fault. Okay? Let's go over to Truman, Arkansas. Show you, I'm sorry, before Truman, let's go over this afternoon on Mark Tree, Arkansas. Look at this. Okay? On the blue line over on the right-hand side, this would be about 1:45 p.m. p.m. this afternoon. We start off with a bunch of tremors, don't we? Then it gets larger. It kicks up to 2.5, 2.7 earthquake. Then, folks, we go into a full-blown 3.0 earthquake. And look at the thickness of that quake. This quake lasted probably 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Then it dies off just a little bit, and then it continues. It continues. The top and the bottom of this quake has been cut off. I'm saying this is at least a 3.0 earthquake, if not larger. Okay? Then over here at 1400 hours, 2 p.m. this afternoon, the tremors are kicking in. 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 2.0 earthquake. Then it backs off to a bunch of tremors, 1.6, 1.7 tremors, and then it kicks into a full-blown earthquake again. This is also at least a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. And the sequence did nearly the same thing as it did earlier, just no more than like 15 minutes earlier, 10 minutes earlier. That's a lot of seismic pressure here. A lot of seismic pressure here. And then we had tremors and earthquakes all afternoon long. Okay? The New Matter fault, guys. The New Matter fault. It's busy. Now let's go to Truman. Truman, Arkansas here. Again, this is the western side of the fault in eastern Arkansas. Look at these tremors and earthquakes all over here. It's not quite as bad as Mark Tree, but folks, it's almost as intense. It's almost as intense. It's incredible. Chris Burke, thank you for being here with us. We appreciate it. But this is incredible, guys. The whole eastern side of Arkansas is shaking like a leaf. Shaking like a leaf. Let's look at this afternoon as well. This is Truman, Arkansas this afternoon. Long duration tremors, and we also have some earthquakes here as well. That green line is here after 1:45 this afternoon. Increased seismic activity. That's incredible, guys. Eastern Arkansas is moving like nothing else I've seen. Let's drop further south to Tyronza, Arkansas. Okay, this is not as large of activity, but we're still seeing 2.5 earthquakes. We're seeing tremors all over the place here. This almost looks like Western Washington at the coast. Tremors and earthquakes everywhere. Over here on the right side after 7:15 a.m. this morning on the red line here. Okay? This would be 7:17 this morning. We had some tremors and it built up to a full-blown 3.0 earthquake. Okay? We've got a couple of those here. Over here at 10 o'clock this morning on the black line, just beneath that. At 10:01 a.m. Actually, just at 10 o'clock, we have a 2.0 earthquake. It drops back to about 1.3, 1.4 tremors. Then it kicks up to a 3.0 earthquake again. Okay? Again, that's a lot of seismic energy here. It's hitting this area, guys. The New Matter fault is moving. You can see it all over this seismogram. Let's look at Tyronza this afternoon. Okay, that's this afternoon. Look at this. Yes, we have a couple 3.0 earthquakes again. Look at these others. Actually, there's just one 3.0 here, and then a near one at 15:32 this afternoon. 3:32 this afternoon on the blue line on the left. And then we move over to the right. That's another 3.0 there, 2.9, 3.0 earthquake there. Tremors, 2.0 earthquakes, and 3.0 earthquakes here. That's a lot of shaking going on. Can you imagine what these people there in Tyranza think when they're feeling that? They're not feeling the 2s, but they're feeling the 3s. The 3s are just like shaking beneath their feet. The 2s are minor earthquakes, and they're not readily felt except by very sensitive people. Okay? That's still a lot of excitement on the New Madrid Fault. Okay? How about the north side of the fault? Let's go up to Fairfield, Illinois. This is the northern part of the New Madrid. Look what we're seeing here. Up at the top here is midnight. The top black line is midnight, not much happening. Then about 1:15, we go from microquakes to 1.0, 1.2, actually 1.0, 1.1 tremors. Okay? Then we see an occasional tremor, and all the rest is microquake until just after 2 a.m. this morning. Then we see a bunch of tremors, and we also see one or two quakes, good sized quakes. Okay? After 9 a.m. this morning, about 9:10 a.m. this morning, folks, we have a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake on the black line there. That's one of the biggest earthquakes here. Okay, Fairfield, Illinois. We've never seen these kind of situations here at Fairfield, Illinois before. Yes, we've seen some shaking, but it's usually minor tremors. This is the first time we get up to a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. It's happening, guys. The New Madrid Fault is moving in a big way. Let's show you Fairfield, Illinois this afternoon. It didn't stop, did it? This time we have no full-blown earthquakes. We have some 2.0s, but no really big activity. We have tons of tremors here. Tons and tons of tremors here in Fairfield, Illinois. That's the most activity I've ever seen on the New Madrid Fault here. That's the most activity I've ever seen on the New Madrid Fault there. Stronghurst, Illinois. Look at this. Microquakes all over the place, but later this morning, after 8:15 this morning, okay, just before 8:16 this morning, this is either a 2.9 or 2.8 earthquake here, and a bunch of tremors following it. Then we go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 minutes later. The tremors start again. Then a minute and a half after that, we have a 2.9, 3.0 earthquake here. Stronghurst, Illinois. We've never seen a small earthquake here before. Not in the 4 years that I've been covering this. It has not happened before. Stronghurst, Illinois this morning. Then this afternoon, all we have here are some minor tremors here. And there may be a 3.0 earthquake, but it was not long lasting. It might have happened for about 1 second. That's what it appears to be. Maybe a 1 second 3.0 earthquake, and that's it. All the rest of this is just tremors here and microquakes. Nothing big at all here at Stronghurst this afternoon. Okay? Then let's go over to Indiana. This is a completely different story. Look at the tremors hitting here in Indiana, guys. This is big time. Yes, we've had tremors here at New Harmony, Indiana, but nothing like this. Constant tremors. 1.3, 1.4 tremors here. It's almost constantly and consistently blacking out the seismogram. Red, blue, and black colors here. Red, blue, black, and we can see some green colors coming through here. 1.3, 1.4, even 1.5 tremors here. Completely covering this seismogram, top to bottom, side to side. We've never seen this before. We've seen it almost this way, but not quite. Okay? Indiana, guys, New Harmony, Indiana. We've never seen this. The same thing happened this afternoon. But look closely at the bottom. I believe we've had 1.6 tremors here as well. Okay? We can clearly see that these tremors are bigger. And it's constant, continuous tremors. Constant, continuous shaking. I've never seen this happen in Indiana before. Unreal, guys. Unreal. I've never seen that before. Okay, let's continue here. Evansville, Indiana. I want to show you this. Evansville, Indiana, for the most part, has been quiet. All you're seeing here are tremor activity. Microquakes up at the top for the first several hours here, but the early part of the morning, about 6 or 7 o'clock this morning, they all started being 1.0, 1.1 tremors. Then they got larger, 1.2, 1.3. Okay? We haven't seen this before. We've seen some consistent activity here at Evansville, Indiana, but not quite like this. Then this afternoon it increased. Look at the increase in tremors here. That's definitely a jump. This is a huge jump. It's a huge jump, guys. Okay. Now I've shown you up and down the fault. I want to show you over in Missouri. I want to show you actually, before I do that, let's go over to Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock, Arkansas this morning. Look at this. Up at the top, we have nothing more but microquake and minor tremors, very tiny tremors. Then throughout the morning they get larger and larger. They back off and get larger again. Look what happens mid-morning today. The tremors get larger and larger here. This is Little Rock, Arkansas. Little Rock, Arkansas. This afternoon it died out. Nothing. Nothing to show you at all. Okay? I want to go over to Braggadocio, Missouri here. Look at this. This is this afternoon. Nothing at all this morning. Tiny tremors, and that was it. Very tiny tremors. All of a sudden, the earthquake started hitting here this afternoon. This is the center of the New Madrid Fault. Okay, over on the right side on the blue line. That was a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Over to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later, a 3.0 earthquake, and it lasts several seconds. Then it dies off very quickly. The secondary wave dies off and goes into a body wave very quickly here. Then we go over here to the right. Over here on the red one. This is actually 12:29 a.m. this morning. This looks to be close to a 3.0 earthquake. 2.9, 3.0. That one over on the left-hand side is on the blue line, 2.9 magnitude quake. On the green line, 12:59 a.m. this morning. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake again. Back to back to back. Then, later on, no, I'm sorry, this is this afternoon. Back up. This is this afternoon at Braggadocio, Missouri. This afternoon here. This is at 4:46 this afternoon. Okay? Actually, no, it's 4:51 this afternoon. 4:51 this afternoon. This is big time. This is big time again. 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. Back to back to back. Look how thick it is. This is Missouri, guys. The center of the New Madrid Fault. That's insane. That's insane. Laura Maurice is here in the chat saying she didn't get notified, almost missed the program. Late start. Yes, we got a little bit late start. No, you didn't get any notifications, Laura. I'm sorry. Check your subscription. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you're still subscribed, click on the notification bell. Click on ALL, making sure you're notified. If not, go back out. Resubscribe immediately, then go back to that notification bell and click on the ALL again. That should get you notified when we come on the air. YouTube does that. They unsubscribe people. They don't notify people when we come on the air. Heaven forbid they want us to know or want anybody to know what's going on. That's sad. That's sad. Okay, that's Missouri, guys. That wasn't the only place in Missouri. Okay? We showed you Barker Cemetery a little bit ago. Okay? Guam, Missouri. Look at this. These are tremors, progressive tremors, and down here, just after 9 a.m., we have some 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes. Maybe even a 2.8 earthquake here. Okay? Guam, Missouri. The center part of the New Madrid Fault. It's insane, guys. It's insane. Now, one more here, actually three more seismograms here. I want to show you Portageville, Missouri this afternoon. Look at this. This is starting to look like Mark Tree, Arkansas. This start to look like LBO seismogram on the north side of Mount Shasta. It's starting to look like Walnut, La Puente in Los Angeles, and Bombay Beach. We've never seen this kind of signal in Portisville, Missouri, ever. Ever. Folks, the seismic activity here is going crazy. Again, this is the center of the New Madrid Fault. We're seeing 3.0 activity here. Small 3.0 earthquakes here. Look how it continues for over 2 minutes. It starts off with tremors at the first, then it kicks into gear. And the 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes continue for 3 minutes. 3 full minutes, getting up to 2.5 here, I believe. Then it kicks down to 2.0 activity for another 30 seconds or so, and then dies off into a body wave very quickly. Okay, goes over into a secondary wave and then quickly into a body wave. The secondary wave lasted maybe a minute, a little over a minute. Okay, this is big time earthquake activity. Okay, again, Portisville, Missouri hasn't seen this ever, I don't think. At least not in a very long time. A few years ago, even 2 years ago, we told you if seismic activity built up more than just tremors, we would tell you about it. At the time I was still doing research here, and all I saw was 1.5, 1.2, 1.7 tremors, and occasionally 2.0 earthquake. That's all. Now it's graduated from all of that to 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes here. And consistent earthquakes, lasting more than a minute, 2 minutes at times. We've never seen this happen. We've never seen this happen. Ginger Gal's here in the chat saying, do you think the increased activity is due to the sun's activity? Most definitely. I would have to say most definitely. Okay? We told you about the increased seismic, or not seismic, the solar activity during the past 2 days. Increased seismic activity and solar activity. They go hand in hand. Catherine Sigerson says, I'm far away from volcanoes and earthquakes. Not really, Catherine. Did you know over in Michigan, we have a volcano in Lake Michigan itself? A big volcano at Lake Michigan? It's not small at all. It's a big volcano. Volcanoes are all over. They're all over. Now I want to go down to Louisiana. We still have activity in southern Louisiana as well on the New Madrid Fault. I'm going to start with DeRidder, Louisiana. Okay, all we're seeing here is minor tremors. Nothing really big at all. All the little light colors here mean nothing. Those are abstract, guys. We're looking at the tremor activity here. The larger activity making its way through the abstract. Over on the right-hand side. Okay, this is about 4:14 this morning. Okay, just before 4:14, it was just maybe 1.3 tremors. Then it reduced itself to less than that. 1.1, 1.2 tops. Then throughout the morning hours it increased, especially after 10 a.m. The seismic activity increased after 10 a.m. It might have gotten up to 1.5, 1.6 tremors tops. That was after 10:58 a.m. this morning on the green line. Okay? DeRidder, Louisiana this morning. The southern part of the New Madrid Fault. Then this afternoon in DeRidder, look at this. The tremors increase here. This is a tremor increase here in DeRidder, Louisiana this afternoon. We're going to watch what happens in the coming days here in DeRidder. These are the largest tremors we've seen. Usually it's smaller. These are the largest tremors we've seen in DeRidder. Okay, let's go to Pioneer, Louisiana now. Okay, Pioneer, Louisiana, all we have are microquakes at the top. And as you can see, as of 7:45 this morning, just occasional tremor activity. 1.2, 1.3, and I think we may have got to a 1.4 tremor as well there. That's all we saw this morning. Then we go down to this afternoon. Good old Pioneer, Louisiana this afternoon. The same thing happening here. These are just microquakes and tremors here. Okay? This is the southern part of the New Madrid Fault. Now I have pulled seismograms from the East Coast. It's getting late. It's already 9:45 Eastern Time. I'm not going to continue with this seismic presentation on the East Coast. I'll do that another time. Just be advised. There are earthquakes and tremors hitting all up and down the entire coast of Canada and the United States on the east side. On the east side. I showed you the earthquake that hit over in Canada. Okay, it was a 2.37 here, St. Alexandre, Quebec, Canada, a 2.37. There are earthquakes up and down the entire coastline of Canada and the United States. That I can promise you. Yes, we're getting into 3.0 earthquakes also here in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Tremors north of that. Tremors north of that. But small earthquakes, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Okay? Catherine Sigurdsson says, I'm far from Michigan. Well, if that volcano goes like they say it's going to go, you still might be covered in ash where you live. Okay? You might not be covered with heavy ash, but you might see some asphalt where you're at. Any other questions here? Catherine Sigurdsson says, I'm on the northern Manitoba-Saskatchewan border. I've been up in Manitoba, Canada myself. I've been as far north as Lake Winnipeg. I've been in Winnipeg itself and as far north as Lake Winnipeg. Been there. I was a kid. I was catching fish with my father. Back in the day, there were no earthquakes being felt at all. I don't think they were even being recorded. Demon Catman says mines are man-made faults as well. Absolutely they are. And yes, they do occur incurs seismic activity. We've seen mines in central Utah. I know for a fact where those are. I've been outside one of those towns when a good-sized earthquake hit because of the mine. Unreal. Carl Smith says that he moved from Louisiana to Kansas over a year ago. That might have been a good thing. That might have been a good thing. Laura Marie, I gave a little thank you here for this card that you sent us. We got it in the mail today. It's postmarked. Well, it doesn't give a date. It was postmarked. Send out cards, changing lives one day at a time is the postmark. It doesn't have a date on it. But we really appreciate your card. We really appreciate your gift card as well. Thank you, Laura Marie. This is wonderful. This is Cannon Beach in Oregon, folks. Cannon Beach in Oregon. It's a beautiful card. Thank you so much, Laura Marie and John. God bless you. We appreciate it. We really do. The wife and I really appreciate that. It was great. Any other questions about anything we've talked about? Whether it's anything going on over in the Middle East, whether it's anything going on here in the United States, or earthquakes. Any questions? Any questions about Mount St. Helens or anything? Catherine Sigerson says her old place would shake every day around dinner time from time to time. The first time was terrifying. I can understand that. I remember the first time I felt an earthquake. It was wild. Totally wild. Okay, guys. I'm going to kick this out now. Okay? Now, I have something here for you. One of the things that I continue seeing are things that I think that you guys might want to see. Jamie Wilkie, please stick around for my devotional here. He says, good night, Ron. Good night, everyone. Jamie, thank you for being here. I want to talk about this. Yours and my relationship with God. My relationship with God is my number one focus. And during the past couple of weeks, we talked about, or we have been talking about, focusing on our relationship with God. God is my number one focus, like I said. I know if I can take care of that, God will take care of everything else for me. I take care of God, and I make sure I'm good with God. He will make sure He takes care of me and takes care of everything else. Folks, again, I would ask you to change your focus and focus on God. My Heavenly Father is a very important part of my life, as is His Son, Jesus Christ. I love them very, very much. I want to go over to 1 Timothy chapter 1. It says, but we know that the law is good if a man use it lawfully. If a man use it lawfully. Knowing this, that the law is not made for a righteous man, but for the lawless and disobedient, for the ungodly and for sinners. for unholy and profane, for murderers of fathers and murderers of mothers, or manslayers. And then it goes on and talks about other people that the law is considered of. This is according to the glorious gospel of the blessed God, which was committed to my trust. Now, this is the epistle of Paul to Timothy. Paul then says, I thank Christ Jesus, our Lord, who hath enabled me, for that he counted me faithful, putting me into the ministry. He counted me faithful, putting me into the ministry. Paul focused on God. Paul focused on God and continued to preach about Jesus Christ. So God counted him faithful, putting him into the ministry. That's where we are. That's where we are. Brothers and sisters, each and every one of us has a job with our Heavenly Father. That job is taking the gospel of Jesus Christ out to our families first, our brothers and sisters and our children, then our neighbors and our friends, then our cities and towns. We need to make sure that everyone hears about the gospel of Jesus Christ. A while back, I told you about an incident that happened to me back when I was in the mission field in Sweden. My last day in Sweden, I spent talking about the gospel of Jesus Christ. I even asked my companion if we could go to an area we'd never been to before. When we got there, we lashed our bikes up to a light pole. Then my dear friend and partner in crime, John Martineau, said, where do you want to start? And I pointed across the street. I pointed at this house with blue trim on it. Let's start there. We walked across the street. We knocked on the door. Now, folks, there had never been missionaries in this town. There was not even a state church in this town. We knocked on the door of this house. The husband and the wife answered and said, come in, we've been waiting for you. They had been praying that representatives of Jesus Christ would contact them and come in and speak to them about the gospel of Jesus Christ. We brought those good people into the gospel of Jesus Christ. I had to leave. I spent about 2 hours with those people. Then I explained I had to leave. But John Martineau and another companion to him went back there and taught those people about the gospel of Jesus Christ. There are hundreds of thousands of people around the world that have not heard about Jesus Christ. Believe it or not, that's true. I know that to be a fact. It's up to each one of us to help preach the gospel, to help people learn the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's go time. It's go time. Brothers and sisters, I have a testimony of Jesus Christ. Like I said, my primary number one focus is on my relationship with God, my wife, and my family, in that order. God, family, and then everything else. My fourth is with you, brothers and sisters, here on the EMA channel. I appreciate each and every one of you here. I ask the Lord's blessings to be upon you. I pray for your well-being. I pray for Heather's. I pray for each and every one of you here. I love you, brothers and sisters. I want you to know that. You folks mean the world to me. I started talking about earthquakes here over 4.5 years ago. I now talk about all kinds of emergencies and disasters. I started teaching Sunday school here on this channel 3.5 years ago. Since then, I have also added devotionals to the end of my programs because all of you wanted them. All of you wanted me to bring this program to an end with a spiritual thought. And that's what I've attempted to do. May God bless you and keep you. May God be with you this day and always. May God lift you up and bring you happiness and joy in your life. May God bless you and be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, brothers and sisters. If anything else happens here tonight, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Fantasy Dog just gave us another $10 super chat. Our Heavenly Father has blessed you with great mods and a great YouTube following. Lead on, Ron. Hurricane Heather prayers. I miss her testimony, and so do I. God bless you, Heather. We love you very much. God bless each and every one of you. All of our mods, all of our family here. Thank you all for being here, guys. Again, like I said again, God be with you till we meet again. We will see you on the other side tomorrow evening, unless something else happens. See you soon, guys. I love you very much. Good night.